Recording in progress.
Okay, so welcome to Yoga for Relaxation today. Your mat will be horizontal and get whatever supports you can. And if you have yoga supports, like I have blocks, but you can have books at home, or you can roll up some big old beach towels or blankets. I have a little cushion for my head. I have a yoga strap, and a belt works beautifully for this, or a scarf. Okay, so you don't need the straps. This is a bolster, but you can have a big old body or sham pillow of some sort. Okay, and we're gonna get started. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is position yourself. We're gonna get comfortable here. You want to have your strap close by, but just we won't use it yet. Soles of the feet together, okay? And then you're going to lean back. You're going to let your legs fall out, but we want comfort here. So if you've got anything going on in the hips or the low back, make sure you have a couple of blocks, or this is where like big old pillows or cushions come in. And then you're going to ease yourself down and use a support for your head. So if you're fairly comfortable here, settle into that space. And if you're going, oh, like your back or your hips, then this is a body awareness. Adjust. If you got one hip that maybe is very in a lot of pain or very tight, make sure you put like an extra pillow or some sort of support underneath there. Like nothing wrong with having your legs up here. If you have the supports, you can let your legs just completely soften. Okay, and if you can tuck in those supports so they're a bit more supportive. And if it works for you, maybe some of you might be able to, this is comfortable without having any supports. Okay. It's not about how it looks. This is about how it feels. Okay, so then what I'd like you to do is close your eyes. So as you close down your eyes, soften the expression of your face. Let your eyebrows just slide towards your ears. Just notice if you're clenching your teeth or aggravating the jaw in any way. And if you are, just soften the jaw, even open up your mouth and go wide, almost like you're yawn. Well, yeah, let's all yawn a couple of times. Oh, just in that, let the tension of your neck and your jaw release. And there's profound benefits to even yawning and sighing in our vagus nerve area. So then settle in, settle in. So the jaw is now unclenched. The eyebrows again are still melting towards the ears. Let that space in between your eyebrows just soften and open. Tune into those legs again. Notice maybe you need to tuck another pillow or blanket or something so you feel more able to rest and relax the legs. And maybe you might find, well, now I can move some of the pillows or supports out of the way. You have to go in to discover your experience. I can only give you some tips and tools. And then your arms are going to go out to the side. If we can have a little bit of a space in between the armpits, wonderful. If you feeling triggered in the neck or the shoulder, just make sure your arms come down a little bit. If it feels okay to have your palms up towards the ceiling, great. So yoga for relaxation is a practice of relaxing. So it requires less effort and a deeper willingness to let go of the tension, to let go of overthinking, to let go of what we think we should be able to do, and instead embrace what we can do. And again, that's a practice And it's a simple practice of awareness, but it's not an easy practice. So the staple is awareness to our breath. So as you rest in your comfortable position, make any adjustments that you need to. Forehead and chin should be in alignment. Again, melt those eyebrows towards the ears and keep your jaw unclenched. And just go inward as we begin to focus on our breathing. At first, you're just aware of your breath. Notice how your body is breathing itself. And then with a gentle awareness, let's see if we can guide our breath with attention, not with force. So bring all of your attention into your belly. And as you inhale, let your belly expand like you're blowing up a balloon in your belly. And then the ribs might extend a little bit. Maybe the breath goes in the chest, but we're not forcing it. We're aware of it. And then as you exhale, let that breath release. And it's like the balloon becomes deflated. So let's do that again. Take a nice breath. Now, as you inhale, I'd like you to inhale through the nose and just let the belly expand, like the balloon is expanding in the belly. And then exhale through the nose and feel the belly, the balloon deflate, and the breath moves out of that belly. So I'm not going to cue it because we all have a different capacity for breath, but your eyes are closed and you're inhaling through the nose with that attention on your belly expanding. And then as you exhale through the nose, the attention is observing or watching or feeling the belly, the balloon in the belly releasing. And that's all you need to pay attention to. So the mind wants a little more to hold on to, but the mind is what keeps us busy and in tension, like in tension and stress. So when we bring all of our awareness to just simply breathing, we have the ability to soften and release the tension that our body and our mind holds on to. So take a nice breath, inhale through the nose, let your belly expand, maybe the ribs and the chest do, but we don't force it. We just observe that breath. And then with every exhalation, as you release the breath from the belly and you let the breath release through the nose, think of softening. Soften your eyes, soften your jaw. So every inhale is just feeling the belly expand. And then every exhale, bring your awareness to melting. Melt your eyes, your jaw, let your arms and your legs melt into the floor. So continue with that breathing and just know that this simple practice of breath and body awareness is not easy to do unless you practice it. And when you learn it and you practice it, the amount of stress and tension that you can release from your body is profound. So let's just stay with this. A nice deep breath. Inhale through the nose and just fill up the belly and feel your diaphragm begin to expand. And with every exhalation, that diaphragm contracts and you melt, your whole body melts into the earth as best as you can. So I'm going to move into silence. We'll just be here for a couple more minutes and do your best to bring all of your attention to the inhale, and with every exhalation, melt your body into the earth, into your mat, into the floor. Now I'd like you to stay focused on your breath, but bring some awareness to what your experience is. So many of us are like the mental mind chatter can be very distracting. We can get impatient with our body. Maybe we're uncomfortable, both in the silence and the focus of the breath, as well as maybe we're just uncomfortable in our body. We don't like it to be in stillness. So just know that whatever is your experience, it's perfectly normal. And again, the simple practice of being in stillness and breathing is not easy. But this is when we open up our body to its ability to heal itself. So it's a practice that is beneficial for everyone, especially if you live in pain. So just another couple breaths as you just allow yourself to be in a state of awareness. And then let go of your breathing. Just let it go to wherever it needs to go. Slowly blink open your eyes. And then gently slide wherever your arms are down to the outside of your legs. And very gently, just engage the belly muscles ever so gently, but use your hands and the slight core work and your legs to bring everything back up. Now, we're going to feel some sensations in the hips, in the low back a little bit, because we went to comfort. We didn't want to go to a really deep stretch. We wanted to find comfort. So if you went a little deeper, you may feel more sensations. Sensations are good to feel. It is your body responding in a positive way. Okay. The only sensation we don't want to feel is pain. But if you honored where your body could go today, you shouldn't have felt some pain. Okay, so just move whatever supports you had out of the way, in just whatever way, even just push them out of the way. I like to move mine so they're not in the way of the screen. Then I'd like you to adjust so your feet are flat, your knees are bent, but you can feel the four corners of your foot soles very grounded into your mat. So underneath the big toe mound, the baby toe mound, and the inside and the outside of the heel. And if you can visualize, some can, some have a little tougher time, growing roots from those four corners so you're very stable into the mat. For some of us, we want to still have a cushion for our head because ideally we want to have the forehead and chin in alignment. So if having a cushion or a support for the head allows that, I would say keep the cushion. If you can remove the cushion and still keep your forehead and chin in alignment, that's another option. Okay, arms are out to the side. We're going to get some movement through the arms and the shoulders. And now we're going to still be very focused on the breath, but we're going to do what's called body breath movement, which is, again, very calming for the mind, very releasing of tension, but it's going to require a little bit more focus. Again, it's a simple practice, but it's not easy. So be patient with yourself and your body. Okay, take a nice breath, inhale. Again, feel the belly, maybe the ribs and the chest expand on that one. And then as you exhale, your fingertips are going to go towards the ceiling, but keep a space in between your hands. Then on the inhale, your arms are going to go over, and just don't go too far. We're going to be doing this a few times. You can go deeper if it feels okay. And then exhale, you're going to bring your fingertips back up towards the ceiling. So inhale out to a T shape. Exhale, fingertips towards the ceiling. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, overhead. Now you want to avoid the ribs popping, so keep your core, so draw the belly button in just slightly. And then exhale and bring your fingertips up. So let's do it again. We're going to be doing this repetitively. Inhale out to a T. Exhale, fingertips towards the ceiling. Keep a space in between the hands. Inhale, overhead. Now, if you can touch your thumbs to the floor, go there, but don't force that to happen. And then exhale, fingertips up to the ceiling. So a lot of breath, body awareness here. Inhale out to a T shape. Exhale, fingertips towards the ceiling. Keep a space between the hands. Inhale, overhead. Now, keep the core, the belly drawn in just slightly. If you can touch the floor with your fingertips, do so. If not, don't worry about it. Exhale, fingertips up. We're finding some coordination with the breath and the movement. Inhale as you go out to a T. Exhale as your fingertips go towards the ceiling. Inhale, overhead. You want to avoid the ribs popping up. The ribs are popping, you may be forcing your arms to go further than they really should go today. So it's inhale out to the T shape. The lower body stays very stabilized. Exhale, fingertips up. Keep your shoulders away from the ears and inhale overhead. So again, this simple movement is beautiful for warming up our shoulders, yet stabilizing the rest of our body. What do I mean by that? Your feet stay grounded. Remember, we grew those roots into the earth. The knees are bent. Keep the knees and ankles close to alignment. Nothing moves but the arms and the breath. This is calming for the mind, calming for the emotions. And for those of us who have monkey minds and thoughts that overthink themselves, sometimes it feels like, this practice is not easy to do, but I'm going to tell you, it's incredibly beneficial if you practice it and do it again and again. So again, it's the inhale when you take the arms out to a T shape. Exhale as the fingertips go towards the ceiling. Inhale overhead without the ribs popping, and it's okay if you cannot touch your thumbs to the floor above your head, and exhale back up. So I'm going to cue just like 2 more rounds, but we're not going to stop. I want you to find your own flow. Especially if you are just starting with a practice like this and you're not used to the breathing, you might be going, I can't breathe that deep. And then there's some that have a lot more capacity for breath because you practice breath work. Then you can go slower. So again, I stopped cueing, but I'll go back to that. And then let me cue 1 more. And then we're going to do about 4 or 5 rounds on our own. Okay, so it's inhale to a T shape. Exhale, fingertips towards the ceiling. Inhale overhead without the ribs popping. Exhale, fingertips towards the ceiling. Then what I'd like you to do is just close your eyes you have to see what I'm doing, that's okay too. But finding your own flow means worrying less about what I'm doing and tuning into what your body is doing without judgment. So finding our flow means we don't criticize our body for what it can't do. We accept it, because by not accepting what is, we're really struggling against what's happening. So just take a moment, a few moments here to find your flow. And if you're going, you know what, my arms are really tired, that's a lot of movement, then please honor that message from your body and just close your eyes, keep your arms in stillness, and simply let your breath do the flowing. Yoga for relaxation can be done with no movement whatsoever. You can lie down and close your eyes and simply focus on your breath. And again, I say simply, I use that word lightly because it's a simple practice of watching our breath or moving our arms with our breath, but it's not easy. It gets easier though as we practice it. And why would you want to do this? Because it's incredibly calming for the mind with practice. It is calming for the nervous system. And why do we want to do that? Because that brings us out of stress mode, brings us out of fight, flight, or freeze. It gives us a gateway and a doorway into ways that we can combat stress. And then when we practice this and we get used to it, the cherry on the top is that what we're doing is putting our body in its natural state of homeostasis, where our body is getting us back into homeostasis. Our body's the intelligent one. We just need to rest and breathe and maybe add in these movements if they're still working for you. So the next time you take a nice breath, inhale, or the next time you take your arms out, just let your arms rest there. And then just let the arms rest into the floor. And if you did close your eyes, you can blink them open now. Okay, so we're going to continue on with a body breath movement, but this time you're going to take your feet a little wider, like as wide as your mat. Okay, so it's like the edges. I know I have a circle mat, but if you have a horizontal mat, the outside of your foot would be fairly in alignment with the outside of your mat. Okay, knees are bent, feet are flat, arms are out in that T shape. This time now, I want you to turn your palms down. Now, this is some mindfulness. You got to really feel into the body. Take a moment to feel as though the shoulder blades are glued or Velcroed into your mat. So you need a little bit of muscle contraction there to keep them grounded, but don't force anything. If you're holding your breath, that's never what we want. So if you're holding your breath, lighten up a little bit. Lighten up. Okay. So now listen up. You can watch first and then join in because we do enough repetition. You want to keep your palms down, your shoulder blades grounded, your feet wide. Take a nice breath, inhale. And then as you exhale through the nose, your legs fall to the right and your gaze goes to the left, but see if you can keep both shoulder blades down. And then when you inhale, your legs and your gaze come back to the center. And as you exhale, your legs go one way, your gaze goes the other. Now, if that bothers your shoulders, your hands can go down a little more. Keep both shoulder blades down as best as you can. Inhale to bring everything to the center. And then exhale as your legs go one way and your gaze goes to the other. So again, it's a body breath movement. We coordinate the breath with the movement and we repeat it over and over. And in repetition is where we begin to find the ease to this. So if it's very new to you, there's a lot going on in the body. You got to focus on, every time I bring everything center, that's my inhale. Every time you exhale, your legs go one way and your gaze goes to the other. Now, don't force the legs to go further. Just let the legs gently fall over to each side. And it's not with force, but where your focus is, where your attention is feeling your shoulder blades as though they're velcroed or glued to the mat. If they lift, no big deal. But if they lift, there's your awareness that maybe you're forcing your legs to go further than they're meant to go. So this is a wide-legged or wide-open spinal twist. And so we get some beautiful rotation movement for our hips. And if you're going, well, my hips don't move like that, well, don't force them. You just do what works for you. We get rotation in through the neck. So if you're going, I can't look that far over to one side, then honor that. But as we practice this body breath movement, you'll find you'll get a little bit more range of motion into the hips and a little bit more range of motion into the neck, but without force. We're not going to get stronger, or, well, let's say we're not going to be able to increase our flexibility with force. We increase our flexibility with ease, with acceptance to where our body is, not forcing our body to go anywhere other than it feels comfortable. Shoulders, stay away from the ears. The breath is inhale as everything comes to the center. Exhale as your legs go one way, your gaze goes the other. There's no force. You can close your eyes if you want and just find your own pattern here. There's a great acceptance of our body when we do a yoga for relaxation. There's no criticism or judgment of what our body cannot do. And instead of putting your focus on what hurts or what you're not able to do with this, put your focus on what your body can do. Because when your body is moving, and maybe you're going, it's too much, I don't want to be in stillness. Well, then what's moving? Your breath. So when your breath is moving, so if you've held your breath, but you're still moving, well, you're not doing your body any favors. I'd rather you be in complete stillness and have all of your awareness in your breath. So the breath is the first foremost. Inhale, belly expands, maybe your ribs in your chest too, in through the nose. Exhale through the nose as you release from the chest to the ribs and the belly. And then if you're adding movement to that, you'll inhale center, exhale legs go one way, gaze goes the other. So at any given time, you can move into stillness and keep your feet flat and your gaze, or your eyes are closed, but if your eyes were open, they'd be gazing at the ceiling. But it's the breath. With every inhale, the belly expands, maybe the ribs and the chest do. And with every single exhalation, we soften. We soften our eyes, our jaw, our shoulders, our belly. So I'm just going to move into a moment or two of silence and just breathe. Move with the breath if that works for you today. Move into full acceptance. So our backs love a spinal twist. So if you're going, your back is not loving this, just know that there may be some force happening. And then stillness. Maybe you've done enough, but your body still needs the breath work. So keep the breath flowing. And if you're going, well, I still want to do a twist, I still want to move my body, just make sure you're not forcing yourself to go deeper than your body is ready and willing to experience today. And then let's just do one more, but you know what? You might be going at a different pace than me. So just don't worry what side you're on. Just the next time you inhale and bring everything center, hold it in that center space. And then just exhale. And then just blink open your eyes if you did decide to close your eyes. Okay. So next, what we're gonna do is have a support, whatever. It could be a scarf, it could be a belt, it could be a yoga strap. And I like to suggest if you did remove that support for your head to bring it back. And another option is to take a book or a cushion of some sort, press into your feet, lift your hips up, and just place your butt onto that block or book or cushion. So you're hiked up a little bit, but your butt's completely on it. Okay, so now relax the shoulders. You're going to bring your right knee in towards your chest, flex that right foot, and then you're going to take your strap or whatever your skipping rope works good here too as well, and you're going to extend that right leg up. Okay, so it depends on, I mean, you can even wrap a towel around. So your arms might be up here, but if they are, because you have maybe a shorter support, make sure your elbows are slightly bent. Okay, and if you have a long support, maybe your arms are resting at the side of your body. One of the main focuses here is that we're not putting any tension on our neck or our shoulders, so your shoulders are away from your ears. Okay, now hamstrings very tight for many of us. If you're going, I can't take my legs straight, like it hurts the back of your knee, make sure your knee is slightly bent. But what I'd like you to do is take your right leg out where you can feel a stretch at the back of the hamstrings, but not into the back of the knee. So if you're very flexible in the hamstrings, you might be here. Got a very gentle bend of the right knee, but you're not locking the knee, but you're also not bending it a lot. Now, if you're going, I can't do that, valid. Not a lot of people can. So you could be here. So wherever that slight bend is for your knee, and you can feel a stretch, so you have to go inward. I can't tell you where that is, but you can feel it. So feel it on the back of that right leg. Relax your shoulders, okay? So now I'm gonna give you some more options. This might be just where you hold it. Hold it so you can feel. So in fact, I'd like you to close your eyes. And you're gonna just take this where you can feel it. Don't worry about where I am. I want you to take it where you can feel a stretch back of the right leg, but not in the knee. And then focus on the breath. Take a nice deep breath, inhale, belly, maybe the ribs in the chest expand, but you want a full diaphragmatic breath. And then as you exhale through the nose, soften the eyes, soften the jaw and the shoulders, and see if you can let your breath go right to the back of the right leg where those hamstrings are being stretched, and soften those muscles. So it's all about the breath. Inhale, feel the belly expand, maybe the ribs and the chest do. And then on the exhalation, let everything soften and let your breath go to the back of the right leg and soften the muscles. Our flexibility happens in our body when we can soften into the stretch or the pose in yoga. Not when we're forcing, not when we're trying to force our body. We can't force our body to relax. Our body, we can just allow it to relax. And we allow it by softening with every exhalation. And when you soften into the exhalation, you'll feel like your body is just going a little deeper. You're not forcing it to go deeper, it just naturally goes deeper. If it feels okay to extend your left leg out, you can, but that's not going to be for everybody. You might be going, I'm fine just where I am. If all of your focus goes to the exhalation and softening the muscles in the back of your right leg, perfect. That's where I would prefer your awareness to be. If you can go deeper, that's great too, but that's not what we're striving for here. We're striving for relaxation. And when we can relax in our practice is when we let go of the tension. And when we let go of the tension, that's when the pain heals. That's when the flexibility begins to increase. There's no force here. There's acceptance, there's breath, there's a stretch, there's a softening with every exhalation. Maybe the softening's in the eyes, maybe it's in the jaw, maybe it's the shoulders. Now I'd like you to keep your eyes closed, but if you did extend the left leg out, bend it again and put your left foot flat. Keep your eyes closed, and wherever you have that right leg, just begin to slowly ease up and ease up on that strap or support, whatever you're using. And then just bring the right knee in towards your chest and bring your strap down. And then you can blink open your eyes. Then what I'd like you to do is just take your hands by that hamstring and pull it in a little bit, just so your knee comes towards your chest. Now, if it feels okay, take your forehead up towards your knees, but that might not feel good. So this is about checking in. How does it feel for you? If you're going, I don't like how that feels, then rest your head back down. Good. Okay. And then just release that right leg and put your right foot flat and just kind of notice how your body is feeling. If you're really used to holding on to stress, it's not that easy to let it go. We have to practice it. And that's why this kind of a practice requires patience, but is incredibly beneficial to our body. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So we're going to bring the left knee in towards the chest, flex the foot, and just take your rope or support or belt, whatever you have, rolled up towel works, and straighten the left leg. Now, the left leg is going to be different than the right because they're not the same. Maybe you have an injury here or your hamstring is tighter. So a slight bend in the knee is good, but we don't want too much. So if I'm trying to bring it in and the only way I can do it is to bend the knee, I'd rather you go out here. But also, you don't want to lock the knee. So there's that fine line. It's a slight bend of the left knee, but not a big bend. And definitely not locking at the back of the knee. So what we want to feel is a stretch at the back of the left leg, but not any kind of a pull at the back of the left knee. We want the hamstrings to stretch, but we don't want to overstretch them. Okay, relax the shoulders because when we get so focused, we tend to go back into our habitual patterns of stress, which is shoulders to the ears, clenching the jaw, burrowing the eyes in. So that's why relax the shoulders, soften the expression of your face. Let those eyebrows slide towards the ears. Okay, find a stretch that feels comfortable. Close down your eyes here and feel into this. So if you go deeper, but don't worry about what I look like. I want you to close your eyes because I do not want you to do what I'm doing. I want you to feel what you're feeling. The only way to do that is to close the eyes and to go inward. Well, the only way to do it effectively, let's say. So if you can bring that left leg in and there's no pain or you're not triggering the back of the knee, bring it in. If you're going, I can't without it triggering, then you don't bring it in. So you're going to find your stretch for your left hamstring. Now, where's your breath? I haven't cued it for a while. Have you found you're holding your breath now or hindering the breath? I want you to go back to the breath being the most important part because it is. Breathe into the belly. The diaphragmatic breath, expand the belly like a balloon, and the ribs and the chest might expand as well. And then as you exhale through the nose, release the breath from that chest, the ribs, and the belly. Let that balloon in the belly deflate. So your most important part of this is the breath. That's how we learn to relax. If you're holding a stretch, but you're holding your breath, your body can only stretch so far. But when we learn to hold a comfortable stretch and soften our entire body on the exhalation, that's when our body reaps the benefits of any yoga practice, particularly a yoga for relaxation. Requires patience because our mind chatter often does not like this kind of a practice, but it's what the mind chatter needs. Now just keep the awareness into the body, and if it feels okay to extend the right leg out, do so, but that's not for everybody. Now, every inhalation, feel the belly expand like a balloon, and maybe the ribs in the chest also expand. And every single exhalation, as you let that breath go, you exhale through the nose. Soften your eyes, soften the jaw, relax the shoulders. See if you can let the muscles at the back of the left leg begin to soften. We cannot force our body to relax. We can just allow it to relax. And we allow it with our exhalation, with the softening. True flexibility happens in our body, and true healing happens in our body when we can soften into our exhalations. We need to be patient with our body and our breath. Now keep your eyes closed, and if you did extend your right leg, you're going to bend it again so your right foot is flat. Very slowly begin to ease up of that stretch on that left leg. Keep your eyes closed, and then bring your left knee in, and you can take that rope or strap off there. You're going to feel, you should be feeling some sensations because that's what happens when we come out of a posture. Then take your hands, you can open your eyes now. Blink them open though, be gentle with that. And just take your hands like by the hamstrings and just hug that knee in. And then if it feels okay, take your forehead up towards your knee. If that does not feel good for the neck, don't do it. Have your head resting down. Okay, so you decide that. You decide all of it. If it doesn't, any of this doesn't feel good in the body, you stay in stillness and your awareness is in the breath. That's how we relax. You can take your head down now. You can be in complete stillness and do this class, just closing your eyes and following the pattern of your breath, and you will be doing yoga for relaxation. Okay, release that left foot. So the left foot is flat. Both feet are flat. Okay, now press into the feet, lift your hips up and remove that block. Okay, and then you're gonna, whatever you had, cushion or block, and then from just the top of the spine, come down very slowly, the base of the spine. Okay, so now this time, bring one knee in towards the chest and then the other knee. Now, you can hold on to the shins or you can hold on to the hamstrings. Okay, now, whatever feels better. Hug them in. Your tailbone might lift a bit. That's okay. As long as it feels okay, it's okay. If it feels okay, take your forehead up towards your knees. If it doesn't, rest back onto that pillow or cushion. And then just take a couple of deep breaths. And as you do so, feel the space in between each of the vertebrae and let the breath move and soothe through the different vertebrae of the spine. Take a nice deep breath, inhale. As you exhale, soften the eyes, soften the jaw, and relax the shoulders. Let's do that one more time. Nice deep full breath, and then as you exhale, soften the eyes, soften the jaw, relax the shoulders, let go of your breathing. If you had your head up, relax that down, and then release one foot at a time. Both feet flat, knees are bent. Place your feet into the floor, draw the belly in, press and lift up, shift your hips over to the left, roll your body to the right. Now, just like a fetal position here for a moment, bring the knees in. Your head could be supported by a pillow or the arm, and just place the top hand down here. And then what we're going to do is press down, and I'd like you to come up one vertebrae at a time. So keep your head down, and as you come up, feel the spine, and just feel each vertebrae of the spine stacks one on top of the other, so your head would be the last to come up. Relax the shoulders. Again, if you're feeling a little bit lightheaded, it might be because you're holding your breath. So be aware of that. Focus on the breath. Beautiful. Okay, and then what we're going to do is bring our hands down, and you're going to come to a tabletop position. So tabletop, you want to have wrist, elbows, and shoulders in alignment, and you want to have your knees and your hips in alignment. See it, but more importantly, feel it. Okay, so what I want you to feel is spread your fingers nice and wide and push your palms into the earth, and then press your shins and the top of your feet into the earth. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, and at first just keep your head in alignment with the spine. If you have anything going on in the knees, really press your shins and the top of your feet into the floor, but you could also roll up your mat or have a cushion so you're not directly on your kneecaps, okay? And if this is just not comfortable because you got something going on to your knees, then you just don't do it, okay? So here we're going to go into a cat-cow, so pressing into the shins and the top of the feet, nice strong arms. Tuck your tailbone in, okay, and start to round through the spine. Draw the belly in. It's like an imaginary string on your low back pulling up. Your head just kind of comes down. Then you start to move from the tailbone base of the spine. Start to move it up. Then your belly dips down, and then your head comes up. So this is another body breath movement. Inhale is your tailbone and your head is up. And then exhale, tailbone down, round through the spine, imaginary string on the low back, pulling up, and your head goes down. So I'd like you to close your eyes here and feel this. So I'm going to cue it for a little bit, but your range of motion is going to be different than my range of motion. So I want you to find the flow. This is one of the best movements for your body. Even if this is the only thing you do every day is a cat-cow. And you can do this standing, you can do it seated, you can do it here on the tabletop. So just because you're going, I can't do this on my knees, you can do it on a chair. You can do it standing. The key here is to move the spine. And we're going to bring, this is a mindful awareness here. What I'd like you to do is visualize your spine moving one vertebrae at a time. And maybe you're going, I'm not a very visual person. Okay, then feel your spine moving one vertebrae at a time. Whether or not it goes smoothly or not, just do your best. And if you're going, I can't really feel it, maybe you don't have a lot of range of motion, then I want you to think about your spine moving one vertebrae at a time. So you can visualize it, feel it, think it. You can do all of the above. Just do your best to get that range of motion through the spine. And if your wrists bother you, you can always go on the fists or you take a break. Again, cat and cow, it's a body breath movement. So when your tailbone and your head go up, that's your inhale. And when your tailbone and your head go down, that's your exhale. But don't worry about what I'm doing. Your eyes are closed and you're following your own flow of your spine. And you want to do this for a couple minutes each day to get the full benefits. It's, again, calming for the mind because it's the body breath movement. You have to pay attention. You're in the moment. You can't be thinking about anything else if you're thinking about the spine moving one vertebrae at a time. And then wherever you are, come to a neutral spine. And only when you get back to that neutral spine do you open your eyes. And then we're going to come to a seated position. Now, a seated position for many people is not comfortable on the floor. So you can have cushion, you can have blocks, you can have a stool, and it's just nice to hike yourself up on something. So I'm going to go into Sadasana, but you might want to cross at your ankles. You might need to extend a leg out because you got something going on in the hips. So I'm going to show this, but most important is that you honor what's going on in your body. Okay, so you remove the fleshy part of your buttocks. I'm going to say have a block or two or cushion behind, and find your sitting bones, or your sitting bones, find the cushion or the mat or the block. And take a moment to grow some roots down there. Now, you do whatever you need to do with the legs, but Sadasana is bringing one foot in, doesn't matter which one, you're going to go with what feels better. And then the outer heel fits into the inner heel. So if you're going, I can't do that, valid, not everybody will be able to. Maybe your knees don't do it, maybe your hips don't, okay? Ideally, when you sit like this, then the higher up you are, maybe you have two blocks behind you, you'll find your knees should be either level with your hips or lower than your hips. So if you've got anything going on in those hips, you want to be hiked up. You could be sitting in a chair for this. If you're going, I can't sit like that, put your feet flat on the floor and sit in a chair. Ground those sitting bones, engage the abdominals, relax the shoulders. Okay, now take the fingertips out to the side, and we're going to do some lateral. So we're going to do a flow again. Inhale up, so the breath flow. Exhale, turn the palms away and bring it down. So we're going to do lateral flow. Listen to my words. So take a nice breath, inhale up, keep both sitting bones grounded. The exhale, left hand comes down, right arm up. Okay, take another deep breath, inhale. As you exhale, dip over to the left, lengthen through the right, but keep the right sitting bone grounded. You decide how far that is for you. On the inhale, come up. Take your right hand down and your left arm comes up, and over to the right you go, lengthen the left. Keep the left sitting bone grounded. Don't force yourself to go any further than feels good for you. Inhale, over to the left, lengthen the right. Keep the sitting bones grounded. Don't worry about going too fast or too deep. Don't force anything. Flow and force can't be done in the same movement, right? You're either flowing or you're forcing it. We want flow. Inhale up, exhale over, keep the sitting bones grounded. We're bringing flexibility to our spine, this lateral stretch. But you're not going to bring flexibility if you're forcing yourself to go further. Inhale up, exhale over. Let's just do that one more time. Inhale up and exhale over. Good. Okay. Inhale up, just with left fingertips up. Drop the left shoulder blade down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, turn the palms away and bring your arms down. Good. Okay, then wherever you had your legs, okay, just put your feet or your heels in, and then just round through the spine. And then inhale and open up to the chest, take your hands behind. So I'll move it to the side so you can see. And you can be on a block, of course, but we just round, tuck in. And then inhale and arch, and maybe your arms just go back a little bit. Let's just do that one more time. Inhale, bring everything back. Equalize it. Open. Beautiful. And then just release that. Okay, so we always want to end a practice Yoga for relaxation typically has a little bit longer time in a shavasana posture, which is a relaxation. But you know what? You stay there as long as it works for you. I like to say get as comfortable as you can. So maybe that fetal position. Maybe, oh, I just really like that fetal position. So you can have a pillow for your head. You can have a block in between. You can have a block, and you can be, in a fetal position. But I'm going to say take like a big pillow, place it underneath your legs. So your low back is very supported. Maybe your legs go wider, maybe not. You gotta feel into, find your comfort. Be supportive in the head, so your forehead and your chin is in alignment. Maybe you want to get a blanket, get all comfy. Okay, and then you close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I still want you to be able to make little micro movements, like really tune in. What way, like how could you make yourself about 5 or 10% more comfortable than you are? Maybe your legs go wider. Maybe you want to bigger support. Maybe your arms need to go out. I don't know what it is for you. Okay, if you're lying on your back, just let those eyebrows slide towards your ears. Let your jaw relax. Let your shoulders release into the mat. And then take a moment to just feel into the heaviness of as though your arms and your legs are like this dead weight. Take one nice deep breath. Again, inhale through the nose and let that belly expand. And then on the exhalation, just absolutely let everything go. Let go of the breathing and just let yourself settle into a space of relaxation, of calm, of surrender. So I invite you to just stay in your beautiful space of relaxation here. Just open your ears. Today's message is from Eckhart Tolle, from Oneness with All of Life. And his message for all of us today is negativity is not intelligent. It is always of the ego. Whenever you are in a negative state, there is something in you that wants the negativity, that perceives it as pleasurable, or that believes it will get you what you want. Otherwise, who would want to hang out? Who would want to hang on to negativity, make themselves and others miserable, and create disease in the body? So whenever there is negativity in you, if you can be aware at that moment that there is something in you that takes pleasure in it or believes it has a useful purpose, well, then you are becoming aware of the ego directly. The moment this happens, your identity has shifted from ego to awareness. This means the ego is shrinking and awareness is growing. So just let those words land where they need to land for you today. And if you want to just stay in a beautiful space of relaxation, you can just let that be. Just stay where you are. If you want to slowly and mindfully transition yourself, you can to a seated position. And again, just stay resting if you want. And if you're seated upright, sit up a little taller, bring your hands in together, thumbs towards your heart center where you honor yourself and the goodness within. Spread your fingers nice and wide as you honor the rest of the world and the goodness in the world. Namaste. Thank you, my friends. Namaste.